Imagine a place where every single night the entire village falls asleep and has the exact same dream. And every morning, they all wake up at the exact same time, gasping, their hearts pounding from a shared nightmare. This isn't the plot of a science fiction movie, it's a documented event that actually happened. Tonight, we're journeying to a small, isolated village to uncover the chilling story of the shared dream phenomenon. What did they see in their sleep? What caused this mass psychic event? And could it happen again? Get ready, because the line between our world and the world of dreams is about to get very, very blurry. The year was 1980. The location, a small, unassuming fishing village in France. Life here was simple, predictable, and deeply connected to the rhythm of the sea. But one ordinary night, that rhythm was shattered. Every resident, from the youngest child to the oldest fisherman, woke up abruptly at 2:00 a.m. That alone was strange, but what they discovered the next morning was truly baffling. As neighbors cautiously spoke to each other over their fences and at the local market, a chilling realization dawned upon them. They had all had the same dream. Not just a similar dream, but the exact same dream, sequence for sequence, detail for detail. In the dream, they found themselves standing on the village's familiar cobblestone streets, but something was wrong. The sky wasn't blue or even grey. It was a terrifying, pulsating shade of deep crimson. The sea, usually their source of livelihood and comfort, was unnaturally calm, like a sheet of black glass reflecting the blood-red sky. There was no wind, no sound of gulls, only a deafening, oppressive silence that seemed to press in on them from all sides. A feeling of profound dread washed over every single dreamer. They felt a presence, something ancient and malevolent, watching them from just beyond the edge of their vision. They couldn't see it, but they could feel its gaze, cold and heavy. The first night, the villagers dismissed it as a bizarre coincidence. A strange atmospheric pressure, a collective anxiety, maybe something in the water. They were a practical, down-to-earth community, not prone to flights of fancy. They tried to laugh it off, to rationalize it, to go about their day as if nothing had happened. But they couldn't shake the feeling of unease. The memory of the crimson sky and the silent, black ocean haunted their waking hours. And then, the next night, it happened again. At exactly 2:00 a.m., the entire village woke up, their sheets damp with sweat, the same terrifying images burned into their minds. The dream was the same, yet different. This time, they were not alone. A figure, tall and shrouded in shadow, stood at the end of the pier. Its form was indistinct, wavering like a heat haze, but its presence was immense, radiating an aura of immense power and sorrow. The villagers in the dream felt an overwhelming pull towards this figure, a simultaneous sense of terror and a strange, mournful curiosity. They were frozen in place, unable to move or scream, forced to watch as the shadowy figure simply stood there, a silent sentinel under a bleeding sky. The shared experience was no longer a coincidence, it was a nightly ritual they were forced to endure. By the third night, panic had begun to set in. Sleep, once a welcome respite, was now a source of terror. People tried to stay awake, drinking strong coffee, playing cards, telling stories to ward off the inevitable. But one by one, exhaustion would claim them, and they would be pulled back into the shared nightmare. The dream world was becoming more vivid, more real, with each passing night. The silence of the dream was now broken by a faint, low hum, a vibration that seemed to resonate deep in their chests, a sound that felt older than the mountains. The figure on the pier remained, but now it seemed to be looking directly at each. And every one of them, its unseen eyes piercing through the dream and into their very souls. The village became a place of fear and exhaustion. The once bustling streets grew quiet during the day as sleep-deprived residents tried to function. Fishing boats remained moored in the harbour. The story of the dream plague, as some started calling it, began to leak out. Initially, the outside world was skeptical. It sounded like mass hysteria, a folk tale spun from the isolation of a small community. But then, a team of researchers, parapsychologists, and sociologists decided to investigate. They arrived in the village armed with recording equipment, psychological questionnaires, and a healthy dose of academic skepticism. The researchers set up a base in the village hall and began interviewing the residents. The consistency of the accounts was astounding. Men, women, and children, people who had barely spoken to each other, described the crimson sky, the black water, and the shadowy figure with identical, unnerving detail. They all reported waking up at precisely 2:00 a.m. The researchers attached sleep monitoring equipment to several volunteers, hoping to capture physiological data during the event. What they found was remarkable. At 2:00 a.m., the devices showed that all the volunteers simultaneously entered a state of heightened REM sleep, accompanied by a spike in heart rate and brain activity, before waking up abruptly. The dream was a real, measurable event. For weeks, this nightly horror continued. The dream continued to evolve. The low humming grew louder, and the shadowy figure on the pier began to slowly, almost imperceptibly, raise one of its arms, pointing out towards the dark, lifeless sea. The feeling of dread in the dream intensified, now mixed with a sense of urgency, as if the figure was trying to warn them about something, or perhaps issue a command. The villagers were at their breaking point. They felt like prisoners in their own minds, trapped in a psychological experiment conducted by an unknown, unseen force. Some prayed, some fell into despair, and all of them were desperate for it to end. The researchers were stumped. They ruled out environmental factors. The water was tested, the air quality checked, geological surveys were conducted. Nothing was out of the ordinary. They considered mass hypnosis, but who was the hypnotist? The phenomenon was organic, leaderless. The most prevalent theory among the research team, though they hesitated to state it officially, was some form of collective consciousness, a psychic link that had been activated among the villagers. But what could have triggered it? Was it the villagers' isolation? A shared genetic heritage? Or something else, something far stranger? Then, as suddenly as it began, it stopped. After nearly a month of nightly terrors, the villagers fell asleep and dreamt their own, individual dreams. Some dreamt of flying, others of loved ones, some dreamt of nothing at all. The collective nightmare was over. The morning was filled not with hushed fear, but with cautious, disbelieving joy. The crimson sky was gone. The shadowy figure had vanished. There was no explanation. The researchers packed up their equipment, their notebooks filled with data they couldn't fully comprehend, leaving behind a village forever changed by its inexplicable journey into a shared unconscious. So, what really happened in that French village? To this day, there is no definitive answer. The official report filed by the researchers concluded with unexplained shared nocturnal psychic event. The names of the village and the people involved were changed to protect their privacy, turning the specific location into a mystery. Over the years, the story has become a legend in the world of paranormal research. Was it a glimpse into a parallel dimension? A message from an unknown intelligence? Or was it a powerful manifestation of a community's hidden, collective anxiety, given form in a shared dream? Theories abound. Some believe that ley lines, hypothetical alignments of ancient sites, might run under the village, creating an energy field that influenced the residents' minds. Others point to the Global Consciousness Project, which suggests that major world events can affect the output of random number generators, hinting that human consciousness can be linked on a massive scale. Perhaps this village was a microcosm of that effect, a perfect storm of psychic sensitivity and an unknown trigger. The dream itself, with its apocalyptic imagery, the red sky, the Black Sea, speaks to classic archetypes of warning and change, symbols found in the subconscious of cultures all over the world. The most fascinating and unsettling aspect of this story is that it's not unique. Throughout history, there have been other, smaller-scale reports of shared dreams, usually among close family members or twins. But an entire community? That is virtually unheard of. It challenges our understanding of consciousness, suggesting that our minds may not be as private and isolated as we believe. It implies that under the right conditions, a psychic network can form, linking us together in a way we are only just beginning to explore. The story of the dreaming village serves as a chilling reminder that there are vast, unexplored territories within our own minds, and that sometimes those territories can overlap. What do you think happened? Was it a psychological phenomenon, a supernatural event, or something else entirely? Let me know your theories in the comments below. The world is full of mysteries, and this is certainly one of the most compelling. Thanks for joining me on this journey into the unexplained. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you don't miss our next deep dive into the unknown. Stay curious and sleep well if you can.